I want to stay on the subject of calcium for a little bit. Calcium is the #1 deficiency in all our pets. That's everything. That's iguanas, you know, your cat, your dog, your bird. Calcium. They need, like Remy, my pigeon, I have to give her grit that it's fortified with calcium. You know, pigeons need extra calcium. You know, all these animals, all our pets need extra calcium. Now, here's calcium that I bought at the pharmacy without D3. This is 1,000 milligrams. This would be sort of too much calcium to give like Ike. Ike is about 85 pounds, and 1,000 milligrams is this is very efficient type of calcium. It's all mashed up and whatever. The dog really assimilates this type of calcium. Now, bone is how he generally gets his calcium, and that's how we keep his calcium phosphorus level correct, is by giving bone-in chicken. But if I do give any type of protein, I may add calcium. 1,000 milligrams is too much. I always break one of these, and I'll break it into 3, so maybe it is down to like 300. You know, 300 seems good. And what I wanted to say is like, say, okay, so this is about 300 now. So what I wanted to say is your concern really should be, is my dog getting enough calcium, knowing that calcium is the #1 deficiency, especially with dogs on raw diet. And the reason why that is people give just steak or, you know, whatever, and it doesn't have the bone in it. If you give steak, it's fine. If you give hamburger, it's fine, but you better add some calcium. It's not going to go good for your dog. You know, you're not helping your dog by just giving a protein without calcium. Bone is part of their diet. That's why I always recommend the raw chicken-based diet. Do that. Do that. And same thing with my cat. My cat will eat raw chicken, bone in, you know, he'll chew on it and everything. And that way he's getting some calcium. But if I don't, I use, if he's not eating something with a bone and I know he's chewing on the bone, I'm going to add calcium without D3. And I just eyeball it, you know, I just make sure he's getting some. If he gets too much, the dog or the cat, what happens, that calcium is excreted like they ate too much bone. It'll make them constipated. So do you understand? Your main concern should be, are they getting enough? Do you want to give them too much? No, you don't want to give them too much, but that doesn't seem to be the issue with people. It's that they're not giving the dog and cat any when they're feeding them protein. Same thing goes for my raven. My raven gets calcium when he eats protein. I smother some of this shit on the meat before I give it to him, so I ensure that he's getting calcium. But my raven also gets calcium from eating the pigeon grit because it's fortified with calcium. You should be concerned about your dog's diet and your cat's diet and your raven's diet, whatever it is, your iguana, and you should be concerned about the calcium level. The calcium phosphorus level is very important. If you're giving protein without calcium, you're gonna screw up your animal. This isn't that difficult. What I'm saying is, if you give too much calcium, you know, we'll give them less next time. Do you understand? They're going to excrete the majority of it that they don't use, and just give them less next time. So are you going to hurt your Labrador if you give them 1,000 milligram pill of calcium? No. I've done that before. I've done that. I have pills of lesser milligrams, and I grabbed 1,000 milligrams, and and I realized afterwards, like, I gave Ike too much calcium. I just give him less next time. I use the proper milligram pill, and that's it. So you don't have to freak out about this. A lot of this stuff, it's, you know, say you feed the proper amount of calcium throughout the week, right? But then on one day you give too much. Is it really going to affect your dog? No, it's not. If you feed your dog throughout the week and one day and each day your dog's getting the proper amount of calcium, but then on one day you forget or something, or the dog you feed the dog without giving it calcium. Is that going to hurt the dog? No, but add calcium the next time you feed the dog. Do you understand? Worry about getting your dog its calcium. It's part of the dog and cat and raven and all these animals that eat whole other animals. It's part of their diet. It's the number one deficiency in our pets is calcium. And that's a lot of vets are worried about this. They're worried that if the people, and this is a fact, people put their dogs on raw diets and they just start giving the dog like, ground chicken or ground turkey or ground beef, and it doesn't have any calcium. If you eat dog food, you will taste little bits of sand in there. That's not sand, that's calcium, that's bone meal. It's important that they get this, isn't it? Is it really important that you take the bone meal and measure it out? No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. But they need to have it. It's very important that they get it. Does it need to be scientifically measured out? Okay, here's 200 milligrams per kilogram, or, no. But they need to have it. And if they eat too much, they're going to excrete it out, and it just might make them a little constipated. So don't freak out too much about this. It's important that they get calcium. You shouldn't feed them too much, right? But if you do, just regulate it throughout the week. See what I'm saying? It's not that difficult. And especially if your dog is on a raw chicken diet, bone-in chicken diet, you won't have any of these issues. It won't matter if you give on one day a little bit too much or a little bit, too little, because they're always going to be getting the proper amount of calcium with bone-in raw chicken. See what I'm saying? Bone-in raw chicken. Remember, cooked chicken bones are detrimental to your dog. Raw chicken bones, that's what we give our dogs because they're easy to digest. They're hollow. They're not like a big beef bone. They're hollow. They just crunch them up and digest them. Okay? This is very important, but don't freak out about it. Just make sure your dog and cat or raven, whatever it is getting calcium. And it doesn't have to be scientifically weighed out or anything. You don't have to oh my God, that's, 100 milligrams too much calcium. In the grand scheme of things, if you're feeding the dog or cat properly throughout the week, it's not going to matter. Okay? I hope this makes sense.